Welcome to the fourth and final video on the Portfolio Build-Along on Experience Cloud. So we have covered Plan and Prepare, the Hero Navigation, the fonts, footers, and pages, and today we'll be going over the contact page and the Web to Lead form. So at the end of this lesson, you will be able to create a thank you or landing page, add a Web to Lead form to your contact page, format and customize the contact form, and then finally publish and activate your site. So first we'll start with the thank you page. In the last video, you should have finished the footer and the rest of your pages. And so the footer will look something like this. And before we can create a contact page, we have to create a landing page, somewhere for the user to go once they hit submit to the form. So before we do the contact page, we are going to create a thank you page. So just go ahead and click on New Page, and we will use the flexible layout and click Next. You can name your page anything like thanks or thank you. It really doesn't matter because the user will not be seeing this page. It's just somewhere for them to land on once they hit submit. So once you hit create, now we need to put something in the body of the thank you page. You can put something as simple as thank you, but you'll just go ahead and just drag over your rich text editor, and then you can add any kind of text or image that you want. I have a already prepared image that says thank you, so I'll just go ahead and use that right here. So now that we have our thank you page, this is where they'll go when they hit submit. Now we have to get the Web to Lead form so we can add it to our contact page. So you want to go back to the Salesforce setup, and in search you want to search for Web to Lead form or Web to Lead. Once you get to the Web to Lead page, you want to click on Create Web to Lead form. And you can select whatever fields you want. I think I will have first name, last name, email. I don't think I'll need city. I don't think it's important for my uses. But I also want to make sure that I do put a description field there. That way, if they want to leave comments, they can do so. So the return URL is that thank you page we just created. So you want to go back to your thank you page. The end of the URL is going to be right there, / and whatever you named your thank you page. To get the beginning part of the URL, you can go to settings, and it's right there under published. So you want to copy that entire URL address and then paste it to where it says return URL. And at the end of it, put forward thank you. And then once you do that, you can hit generate, and it'll generate the Web to Lead form in an HTML format so we can post it to our website. So we are going to take off the CAPTCHA because we're not going to put our users through that, so we don't need that right now. So you want to copy and everything below the form. So where it says note, everything below that, you will copy it. That's all the everything for the HTML for the form, and you want to go back to our contact page. And then we want to configure the layout on how you want your form to look on the page. I'm going to have a 2-column layout, so something like 1/3 and 2/3. So let's see, I'll play around with this until I get a size that I think would look good with the form. And then once we have that placeholder, we can go up to the components, and we want to drag over not the rich text editor, but this time we are going to use the HTML editor. So go ahead and drag that over. And then what you'll do is click on the box, and it'll bring up this HTML editor. We will remove the P paragraph and then paste everything that we had just copied from the Web to Lead form. And in here, you'll see a few indicators of what the form's going to look like. And then that is what it looks like once it's posted to the page. So you can see that it is not very styled. It looks a little crammed together, but we can take care of that, and we can kind of adjust the fields and make it look a little better. And we can do that a couple of ways. We can go into the HTML editor and make some changes there. We'd use those tags that say input or label. Or we can also make some styling in the CSS by using the label and the input tags. So what we'll do is we will get out of the HTML editor and then go back into our themes and then click on that CSS page so we can edit it. And what we'll use is the tag input, comma, and then text area. Input is for all the fields, text area is for the description, then open and close curly brackets. And we'll just go ahead and first set the width to 100% because we want the fields to go all the way across that column. Okay, so that's looking a little bit better. The fields are a little bit still not very, the height isn't very good, so let's go ahead and play around with that and see if we can get it to look a little better. So we'll go back to the Edit CSS field, and let's see. I am going to add some padding, which is just some space around the fields. A margin would not make the fields any bigger, but the padding works from the inside, so it makes it a little bit bigger. You can see that the fields are now a little bit taller. And then we have our submit button. I'd like to do something with that too. So it looks more like a button and not so much all the way across, but you can keep it and have it any way you want it. To correct the button, we first go look and see what the name is, so we know how to tag it in the CSS. So in order to do any changes or styling to the button, this is what we'll have to put in the CSS. So you want to go to a new line and you want to put input, and then this time it's going to be open square bracket, type equals, submit, close square bracket, and then open and close curly bracket. And in here I am going to change the width to something a little bit smaller. I can always go back and change it later if I don't like the look of it. Right now I'm going to start with 25%. And then semicolon. I am also going to make it not so square. Let's see, so that to do that you would go border radius. Then we'd change that to a few pixels, 5 or 10 pixels, 20 pixels. The more pixels, the more rounded the edges are. And I'm also going to make a background color. So I'm going to make the background color, let's see, dark blue. And then I don't know why I keep on adding that to the end. I'm sorry about that. So we'll have the color white and the background dark blue. That's a good contrast. And let's save that and see what it looks like. Okay, well, it looks a lot better than I think it did before. So that is their submit button. I also want to put the field names or the field labels as placeholders inside. Let's take care of the border radius a little bit, maybe make it not so wide. Let's see how that looks. Okay. I think that looks good enough. You can play around with it if you want to make it smaller, wider, different color. So right now, let's go ahead and go back into the HTML editor, and we are going to put the label, rather than it be on top of the field box, we are going to put it as a placeholder inside the field box, which it'll kind of post it as a kind of a lighter gray. So it's just a placeholder. And the way you do that is just right after input, we just put placeholder equals, and then whatever the label is. So in this case, it would be placeholder equals quotation marks first name. And that's what's going to appear inside the box rather than on top of it. So I'm going to do that with all the rest of the fields too. Okay, so just give me a second and I'm going to go finish off the other fields and in the same procedure in the same method. And you notice that not only am I putting it next to the placeholder, I'm also removing it in between the label and input tags. Doing this, or you can also, if you want to leave the labels on top of the field boxes, you can also, this is how you would change the names of the fields. Like in my case, I just want it to say state. I don't think it needs to say states / province. So this is where you would do any kind of that changes. And also I want to change description. I think for my purpose, something like questions or comments or something like that would be more appropriate than description, and that's where you would change that. So either as a placeholder or just change in between the label tags. Okay, so now it looks a little better, but now it's just too squished together. So let's just make a little bit of few more changes before we finish. So in this case, I will put a margin, which will take care of the space outside of the box, where the padding took care of the space inside the box. So that gives it just a little bit of margin on the top and bottom so that it's not so scrunched together. And I'm going to put some pre-populated text in the side, on the left side. In this case, I just wrote a quick text saying that I'm using the web to lead. So just to demonstrate my knowledge and use of the web to lead form. And just to kind of give some information on what process and what automation is happening on this page. So that's what our contact form is going to look like. So I think we should publish this and check and see how to use it. So once it is published and you want to go check it out, you will go click on the link of your form, and then let's go to our contact page and see if our web to lead form actually works. So I'm just going to fill this out with some testing text. And it doesn't matter what you put here. This is just a test and see if it does populate over into our Salesforce org in the lead object. So once we hit submit, let's see if our landing page works. Okay, so you see that once you hit submit, it takes you directly to our landing page. And now let's go check out our lead and see if in the lead object there is a new lead named test. And there it is. So, and there's the record page, and if you go into the details all the way to the bottom, you will see the questions and comments that I created. Okay, and that is it for our site. The only thing left that you would have to do is on the site is make sure that you do make all the pages available for the public and that you do publish them. It's the button next to Builder. And then anytime you want to link to another page, like the contact or guest book button on the front hero section, the link that you would use is you just use the same format that you did for the thank you page on the return URL. Now, this is not the only way that you can create these sites. Obviously, you can make it as personal or customized as you want. It's just I gave you the basic information in order to give you just enough information that you know how to do the most important fields and customization on this Experience Builder site so that you can get something posted and published to the public as soon as possible. But I would continue working on it and practice and see how creative you can get. And I will also give you a link to the developer's guide on Experience Cloud, and that would give you more information if needed. So I really hope that this has at least pointed you in the right direction in order to have build your portfolio on Experience Cloud. Once you get more familiar with it, you can venture on over to the Lightning Web components and the Lightning Web Time Run. The LWR instead of the Aura. So I hope you have fun with it, and I'm excited to see what you create. So on this part 4 of Contact Page and Web to Lead, you are now able to create a thank you or landing page, add a Web to Lead form to your contact page, customize that form, and publish and activate your site. And this is the link that you can go to for more information. This is just basic introduction to digital experiences, and it did not cover everything, but you can go to this site to get more information. And I hope you found these videos and this information useful. And that concludes our portfolio build along on Experience Cloud. Thank you for watching.